Hi, this is Pingting. Today I'm going to present my Capstone project proposal. My Capstone is named Be Her Ally. It is a game advocating for family support of postpartum depression. Let me briefly introduce the concept statement. So everything started after I gave birth to my baby. I had a really hard time. Since there is no enough sleep and rest for me to recover, I felt exhausted all day. But when I finally got some time to rest and do something I liked before, I started to find out that all of my interests faded away. I have no passion, I can't sleep, even though I am super tired, and I feel like hopeless and paranoid. I talked to a psychologist and he said I had postpartum depression. I heard this word before. However, when it comes to me, I still feel helpless to deal with it. Who is more helpless? My husband. He did research on postpartum depression, but he does not know what he could do to help. And he gradually showed some postpartum depression signs also. Well, the end of the story is we made it and I slowly recovered from postpartum depression. But I started to notice that many new moms around me have the same issue. So do those new dads. As a result, I was wondering that if I could do something to help with the families just have baby. Giving birth to a baby is a special moment of every parent's life. This special moment brought both the greatest happiness and extreme difficulties. When the baby is born, the dramatic hormone change can and the extreme lack of rest will drag a woman into an almost inevitable baby blues. This baby blue can develop into a real issue, postpartum depression. According to research, 50% to 80% of the new moms have baby blues in the postpartum period. 13% of the new moms get postpartum depression. Suffering from mental health problems has a negative impact on both new moms and babies. Not to mention that new dads can also get postpartum depression. However, this issue is totally preventable during the prepartum and postpartum period as long as new moms and their family members are having correct vision of postpartum depression. Introducing Be Her Ally, a social impact game that would educate new parents about postpartum depression and advocating for family support in a more interactive and immersive experience. Players will play as new dad to explore what happens to their wife in problem by messaging and talking to their family members and friends. They will know the scientific information about postpartum depression and find out the right way advised by professionals to deal with it. This game would either be developed by Twine or Unity. It could be a self-educating game and a tool for professionals and maternity class holders to use to help with their patients. So who's the audiences? The target audiences are new dads, new moms, other family members, and professionals. My primary target audiences is new dad. New dads who are worrying about their wives having baby blues and experiencing postpartum depression. The reason I'm choosing new dads as my primary target audience instead of new moms is because new moms are always focusing a lot on the babies during the postpartum period than themselves. And new dads has a little bit like later transition to a dad position comparing to the new moms. So they still focusing a lot on their wives during that period of time. So they are the ones who know their wives have some problems and they know there's something wrong with them and they would like to help, but they don't know what is going on and what they could do. And my secondary target audience is, of course, new moms. New mothers in their postpartum period, especially for those who are experiencing baby blues, who are suspecting themselves experiencing or they are experiencing postpartum depression. And the other secondary target audience is other family members. Although in the United States, there's a lot of family just consists of new dads and new moms, but a lot of families with other cultures, for example, in China, many parents-in-law will involve in this period of time. So any family members that worry about new parents' mental health and would like to know what postpartum depression is and the ways to support it is my secondary target audiences. And the other target audience is the professionals. Doctors like psychologists, psychiatrists, OB-GYNs, pediatricians and educators like maternity class holders who want to better educate the new parents about postpartum depression and help the new parents by giving them a source and the tool to solve the issue. So for the design precedents, there's a lot of the game out there talking about depression, mental health, and these are the games that inspired me most. The first one is Depression Quest. Depression Quest is an interactive fiction game which presents descriptions of various situations and prompts the players to choose their response. In addition, most pages features a set of still images and atmospheric music. The game has over 40,000 words of text and multiple possible endings, and players will be allowed to make their selections in the game, and they will kind of experience how the depression patient feel like during the game. And the second one is Coming Out Simulator. Players will experience as a semi-fictional version of designer online that changes his life forever. By choosing their word wisely, player would figure out how to approach their hyper-conservative Asian parents. And if all that seems confusing or awkward, well, that's the gist of coming out as a queer, isn't it? Yeah, so this one is the one that inspired me a lot, and I'm so obsessed with how it tells the story and interact with the player could interact with the game, and also like the messaging kind of gameplay is really interesting and inspired me. And the last one is very similar to the Coming Out Simulator. It's called Bury Me in My Love. Bury Me in My Love is very famous, and it tells a Norse story as she flees Syria to tries to reach to Europe. But why did the young woman decide to leave? This is a reality-inspired interactive fiction designed for mobile phones, and it will occur in pseudo-real time and how a player plays help. Being inspired by those games, I started wondering if I could do something like those games and related to the topic that I'm interested in, which is the postpartum depression and advocating for family support for the so I decided to do a playful, immersive, and interactive experience. And I break the reason down into several parts and briefly go through it. The first one is it will be an easier understanding and reliable source. Most of the sources out there about postpartum depression are text-based. There are many articles and researches, but it is not new parents friendly. New parents need to research all the baby stuffs and take care of the baby all the time. They don't have time and energy to read through articles to find solution. Moreover, articles and research online are mixed with useful and useless information. It is hard for people who know little about psychology to figure it out the right way to solve the issue. So the second is it's a self-educating tool to understand the issue and solution. Many new dads and family members of new moms are aware of the issue that new moms they have some problem. However, they don't know what exactly the problem is. Even though they know it is about postpartum depression, they don't know how to support new moms. By playing this game, they will know the problem because they may have the similar situation with the people in this game. They will also know the scientific information and professional proof method to support. Third, as I mentioned, is professional approved solutions. New parents are busy. Making an appointment with a psychologist or psychiatrist may not be practical during the postpartum period. By playing this game, they will know the basic information about postpartum depression and how to deal with it by professionals. Of course, the game will suggest them to seek professional help, but an urgent case is always important to keep it at home. Fourth, it will be a playful, immersive, and interactive experience. The game is telling a story, which new parents will like link their experience and emotion to. It is a typical new parents story that new parents will sympathize with. They will also be able to interact with the story to explore different endings to make the experience more immersive. 5. Education without being overwhelming and depriving mind. Mental problems are always overwhelming. It is not a good idea to freak out people who are pregnant and priming the idea of getting depression after delivery. However, a game may not be that scary and still educational and effective. Last but not least, Ludo literacy and Ludo narrative. Playing is always the best way to be educated. For the final one, I like to go through my timeline for the next semester. So basically, we'll have 15 weeks to finish this project, and I divide them into 5 stages. For the first stages, it's about the research. For the week of January the 24th, I'll finish everything about the research, including stakeholder mapping, target segmentation, interview, etc., including everything I did in this semester. I'll document them and finish all of this. And for the next 5 weeks, I'll start working on the draft of the scripts and the mechanic designs and narrative. I'll write the story, write the choices that the player can make, and decide whether it's a text message only game or the player still can have like the chat with the characters in the game as well as the messaging in the game. And from March the 7th to April the 4th, I'll start on coding the game in Twine or Unity, and I'll start to design assets including art, sound, and other assets, and I'll edit the script to have the final version of the script, and the story will be finished here, and I'll put the story into the code. And from the April the 11th to May the 2nd, I'll do the play testing and editing the game, do the refinement, and then and then make sure that everything is going well. And then for the last week of the semester, the May the 2nd to the May the 9th, I'll prepare for the presentation and do the presentation. And if there's anything else left I need to do, I need more time, I'll put it in this week. So that's pretty much everything about my capstone project proposal. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for watching.